I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
Welcome to Prattle World. I am your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan. And in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. And we are back. Dennis and myself are partnering once again with those great people, those grim people over at Grimmfest to celebrate Grimmfest Xmas Horror Nights 2021, sponsored by the Horror Channel. So you know how we do over here around this time of year. We're always looking at alternative Christmas films, alternativity stories, as I like to call it. But this is an added bonus amid all the other stuff I announced that's come along. And we've grabbed it again, this opportunity, with both hands. And it's been orchestrated by the master puppet master himself. It's Dennis Whittle.
Good day, sir. Good day.
Good day and good morrow, fair wench.
Fair wench.
How glorious this day must be for you.
I'm living the dream, mate. Living the dream.
Living the dream. Living the dream.
Living the dream.
So this is actually going to come out before our alternativity stories we've already recorded for New Year's. It's like weird time travel, timey-wimey stuff going on.
And it's very exciting because the movies that are being shown straight into your living room.
Streaming. You don't even have to move. You don't have to go anywhere.
Don't have to move.
You can just
watch it in the comfort of your own home.
You can spill all your cranberry and your turkey down yourself.
You can scream and cry and not have to worry about what other people are thinking behind you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this is a purely, unlike the Grimmfest we went to, which was a physical event, a live event with many exclusive premieres happening. This is a purely online event. But again, you don't have to venture out into the cold or into the snow or fall over and crack your head open and cause your own little horror story. You can stay in the comfort of your own home and enjoy these movies that you can't see anywhere else at this current moment in time. So the premiere of all these movies will be on Friday, December 10th and Saturday, December the 11th. So this will come out on Thursday. So that's December 8th. So you can get a quick heads up before you go and buy your ticket and venture into, again, a grim world, a grim up north world with the Grimmfest. So Dennis, tell us the prices and the specific films that you'll get on each day.
On Friday night, you'll have Black Friday and Dark Cloud, plus a selection of short movies as well.
Ooh.
And this will cost you £11.70.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
That is less than a takeaway these days.
Well, it's less than going to the pictures, and you get 2 movies and shorts.
And more. You're getting more and more for your money. And again, we've not seen the shorts ourselves. We've not had access to those shorts, but I've enjoyed the shorts previously at the Grimmfest and all the stuff I've seen before. So I'm sure they're excellent. I do think I have some of them listed here. So I'm just going to read out some of them. So we've got Last Chance, The Naughty List, Myosotis. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And She Picked Me. She did. She picked me.
Nobody picks you.
Nobody picks me. I'm still alone. Dark, cold, and alone. December. No one's putting anything down my in my stockings or up my chimney.
You like the Grimmfest Reaper.
Oh, alone, constantly alone. Reaching out, waiting for someone to touch me.
You can watch these movies on your own, and that's the benefit of having it. And nobody's going to judge you.
Absolutely, and it gives me a bit of company around the holidays. So brilliant. But before we get too stuck in, it's so that was Friday, wasn't it? So
yep. And then on Saturday, the 11th of December, it's See For Me and The House of Snails.
Ooh.
Plus shorts.
Yeah. Now, do the viewers get their own pair of shorts? Are those posted out?
I think you have to supply your own shorts and wear them while watching the audio-visual feast.
Okay, I see. Sorry, I'm very new to these online events, you see, so I'm not sure how they work. So I assumed that we were going to get posted a lot of, Christmas festive related holiday shorts.
The content is available on both days from 6 p.m. and you have 8 hours to watch both movies and shorts per day.
It's a lot of time. That is a fair amount of time. So you've got.
I think the average time of the movie is about an hour and a half. So, you can not just watch them once, not twice,
multiple times,
3 times.
You can enjoy the sensation of watching them over and over and over.
What's good? What I like about this is, your mates come round. It's £11.70. They come round and it's nothing, a couple of quid each, and you've got an night's entertainment.
Yeah, stick your family in the front room. You can do it that way as well.
Yeah,
take the pocket money off the kids, so you're paying for this as well. Nab it off them. Santa's definitely coming, or is he? He's going to drop you some coal. But here's some good Christmas treats, some horror frights coming your way. So yeah, amazing. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. So we're going to talk non-spoilers about the films that we've seen. So Black Friday, Dark Cloud, House of Snails, and See For Me. So we're going to discuss them without ruining them for everybody, but we're going to talk about them en masse and who's in it, what's going on, what's happening, what's the gist of each film. So let's start with Black Friday. So Black Friday, this is the synopsis for a Black Friday. On Thanksgiving night, a group of disgruntled toy store employees begrudgingly arrive for work to open the store at midnight for the busiest shopping day of the year. Meanwhile, an alien parasite crashes to Earth in a meteor. This group of misfits, led by a store manager, Jonathan, played by Bruce Campbell, and longtime employee Ken, played by Devon Sawa, soon find themselves battling against hordes of holiday shoppers who have been turned into monstrous creatures hell-bent on a murderous rampage on Black Friday. So Black Friday is directed by Casey Tebow, written by Andy Grezkowiak, and starring again Bruce Campbell, Devon Sawa, Michael Jai White, and Ivana Banquero. So Dennis, what did you think of Black Friday?
I really liked Black Friday. I thought it was fun, runs at such a pace. It kind of just starts straight away, which is great. I think the cast are funny. You've got all the stereotypical workers, the one that wants everything done perfect, the one that doesn't care, the young one, the guy who's too old to be working in a shop. So you've got all the stereotypes, which is cool.
The suck up.
Yeah. And particularly one of my favorite things is practical special effects. I do like practical special effects. So, the creature features are really cool. I saw the trailers to this, and when I watched it, I didn't expect it to be the way it was. I expected it to be more. I thought it was zombies.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's not. I mean, there's zombie elements. It reminds me of kind of like I recently did a podcast on Slither, which I think it's very similar to in a lot of ways. It's got a lot of good comedic performances, a lot of great actors involved. It's got a little bit of like Night of the Creeps as well, and maybe a little bit of The Blob, like the remake of The Blob. Do you think it was? It must be. But do you think it was? They purposefully made the creature look like a turkey. It must be, because it was just like, I was like, they've got a beak, they've got like a little plucked chicken, like turkey wing arm that looks like little, as they're continually transforming into these creatures. I love the kind of anti-consumerism message in it as well. They even have Chucky on the TV at one point. I think it's a clip from the Chucky TV show or one of the films, which again is very kind of anti-consumerism. And I don't think it's set at Christmas necessarily, Chucky, but it's set during the wintertime. But yeah, I love that kind of whole kind of ethos. And again, Dawn of the Dead and a lot of stuff like that.
I got Dawn of the Dead vibes from it, definitely.
Yeah.
It's, there's poignant little moments in it as well, which you don't expect, coming from the Bruce Campbell character who's in charge of the store. And, there is, surprisingly for a low budget, funny paced horror movies, there are moments of like, oh, bless. They're like, you're kind of rooting for them. You want them to kind of succeed in their endeavors. apart from one person.
Yeah, there's obviously a couple of people that aren't very likable, and guess what happens to them? No spoilers, but there is a lot of there's a lot of bankable kind of stars in this as well. Ivana Bequero is. Did you ever see Pan's Labyrinth?
Yes,
that's her. That's the girl from Pan's Labyrinth, which I was like, that's kind of I was like, bloody hell, she's grown up quite a bit, and I was like, and then she's dating Devon Sawa, who's back in the day I was quite the Eminem fan, and he was Stan in the Eminem video, and he was also in Final Destination as well, and obviously Bruce Campbell is a absolute ledge. Yep. And I've got a soft spot for Michael Jai White as well.
Yeah, I have as well. What I like about the Bruce Campbell character, it's very much Bruce Campbell, but it's not a Bruce Campbell movie. He's in it and he's brilliant in it, but all the rest of the characters carry the movie well.
It's almost like he's playing the manager of like the S-Mart from Army of Darkness, where Bruce, like Ash works.
Yeah.
Shop smart, shop S-Mart. It's almost like that was his manager. He's like this weaselly. It's like the exact opposite of Ash.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely has no life apart from the shop. I know he's interested in what corporate want. So, but no, I liked it a lot. I liked it more than I thought I was going to. I don't think the trailer sells it as well.
Trailers can be misleading.
But no, and the pace of it just is non-stop. Like literally, it must be 2-3 minutes into the movie, and all the stuff started to happen straight away, which is really cool. And I do like the kind of bitchiness about Black Friday, about how it's just crap and
You know what? I've worked in a lot of similar jobs to the jobs in Black Friday and the roles in Black Friday, and I've met every single one of those people in those jobs. Whether it's working with children or it's at a Lego center or theme park or just a bloody Subway, all the kind of places I've worked, it's like you kind of know everybody like that, and the people you want to die, more than likely the ones that are going to die, and you kind of like. I was kind of picturing those people. I was like, yeah, I'm going to put your face on this character while they die.
The nearest I've got to it, Amy must have been about 4, maybe 3, 4, and I had to stand out Toys R Us early hours of the morning in a blizzard to get the must-have toy, and people were literally fighting over this toy. I just walked in and grabbed it and walked out, but people were like, I want the pink one, I want this one. I was like, no, I'm just getting and going. But it was freezing. There was a blizzard.
I actually went out this Black Friday. I realized on the way there, I was like, shit, it's Black Friday. I'm going to get torn apart. And then I was like, I'm just going to run in, grab what I need and get out. I know exactly what I need. I'm just going to find it, grab it, go. And that's what I did. I got out of town. I probably spent less than an hour in town because it was just manic. And I was just like, not ready for all this.
And what I liked about the movie as well, when the Black Friday, when the store opens, it's very reminiscent of those videos you see on YouTube, with people just slamming into each other and grabbing everything, and it's like I said, it is really funny as well. There's proper laugh out loud moments in it. I loved it. I thought it was great. I liked it. I thought it was funny. I would recommend people watch it as well, very much so. I think it's one of those. It's a good message in it as well. Don't spend all your money, or your face is going to get pulled off.
Yeah, and don't buy it, because it even explains, like the Bruce Campbell character kind of explains. He's like, it's not like Black Friday isn't all that, because actually the high value items are dropped in price, but everything else is being sold, for more than ever. Like cables, for you to sell the TV cheap, cables are more expensive.
Yeah, so you go in and buy the thing, but you're always going to buy something else as well, and that's where the money's made.
Absolutely.
So, and I've never been a big fan of Black Friday. I've always thought it's been a bit of a rip-off.
So I think that's the kind of the idea of most shops now. It's get people in the door, and then while they're in, they can see other stuff and they will buy other stuff. How many people have gone to Primark? I just want a T-shirt, and they come out with like a suitcase full of stuff. So I think it was a fun ride. It's funny. It's got the action. It's got the weird body horror, like you said, the special effects. It all really works so well, and I think it's really well written as well. Like you could easily just kind of spaff out a script and just be like, zombies in a toy shop. But they've thought about it, they've cared about it, all the motivations are there, and I can see why those characters would do those certain things, even if they are a bit like, that's kind of crazy, but sure, kind of goes along with everything. But yeah, could you class this as because obviously this is Thanksgiving, even though I know they're all kind of obviously this is coming into the holidays for America and stuff. But would you class it would you still class it as a Christmas film or holiday film?
Yeah, I would do. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Thanksgiving is the beginning of the holiday in America,
holiday
isn't it?
Season,
so it's the beginning of it. Just on a side note, just remember, I like the weapons they use as well when they're going around, which I think is really, thinking about it. If it was like B&Q or a hardware store, it'd be no problem. But they're in a toy shop.
Yeah,
Nerf guns aren't going to do much.
Yeah. Well, that's just the Equalizer, Dennis. You're just describing the plot of the Equalizer.
Oh yeah, I like the Equalizer. Anyway, but I like the different weapons and things that they have to kind of employ to try to get out of it.
I think I will say this. I think the finale, the way they kill the final beast, I think is one of the most ingenious things I've seen in a film or like a horror movie kill for a long time.
Yep.
And I think that should go on like lists of best kills in a horror movie. Like if it's not on YouTube, I'll make my own, and that's going to be one of the top ones, because I just like that's kind of genius, because you think it's not going to work initially, and you're like, And there's a lot of these characters that are having their own issues and stuff, and you believe them. Like, he's the young lad's got like an overbearing dad, which I can sometimes relate to. There's all this other stuff going on, and the
got a germaphobe.
Yeah, you got the germaphobe. Yeah, well, I mean, it's very like, they don't.
It's been close to home for you for this, isn't it, mate?
Not a germaphobe. But like they don't actively reference COVID or disease, the disease, or the flu or anything. But he is constantly looking for hand sanitizer. So I don't know if maybe this was filmed during it, after it, before it, whatever. But it kind of works with him constantly he's looking at all these disgusting things, all these people. Like, I will say this, like, there's always somebody who sticks around in something they shouldn't in these films, isn't there? They say like a gooey thing, or they go, "Ooh, what's that?" And they start sticking their fingers and stuff. I'm like,
we've all been there.
We'll stuck our hands in gooey things
and then smell it.
But yeah. Was there anything else you want to say about Black Friday?
No, I think it's a really good movie to kind of launch the event. I think it's a good one to kind of sit down, have a laugh with. Oh, I think it's a good choice.
It's certainly not one to kind of take seriously either. There was a character that made me think of you though, Dennis, and it was the teddy bear called Dour Dennis.
Yeah, I know.
And he's constantly going, "Oh, I'm having a bad day," and he's going like, "Oh, this is my last day of work. Hopefully, it'll end soon." It's all this sort of stuff, and he constantly kind of turns up because they're like, he's a malfunctioning teddy bear.
Yeah,
it's this like totally depressed teddy bear.
And without giving a spoilers away, one of my favorite lines were, "We were going to sell that." So look out for that.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. It is good. You will enjoy it, I guarantee.
Yeah, proper diverse cast. Lots of fun to be had. If you like your gore, you're good. If you like your horror cameos, your horror comedies, I think there's something definitely here for you. So
it's very much tongue in cheek, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So it's definitely the funniest film of the bunch that we're going to be looking at.
Yep.
But it's still great. It still has its horror moments as well. The comedy doesn't take away from the horror of the situation.
So the next movie is Dark Cloud. So Dan, Dark Cloud, what do you reckon?
Dark Cloud. So shall I give a brief synopsis before we go into it? So, following the aftermath of a horrific accident, Chloe wants to get her old life back. She volunteers to try a new rehabilitation process using artificial intelligence. The AI, known as Ada, will do anything to keep Chloe safe. After all, this is her new home. Dark Cloud. So it is a young lady who is... Oh, before I go into that, so it's directed by Jay Ness, written by J.J. Kaiser, starring Emily Atak, and Alexis Gabrielle. So it's basically has a lady who's had there's a car accident. She's been hit by a car, and she just develops kind of memory problems, and she starts losing things, and things start kind of hallucinating a bit and things like that. There's this new experimental technology, which is basically a house that is run by an artificial intelligence, and it monitors her condition, tells her what she should be doing, shouldn't be doing, what's best for her, how to assist her in any way. So does like some psychological stuff as well. But over the course of the film, Ada becomes more and more kind of self-aware, let's say, and starts acting more and more like it's a very 2001 Space Odyssey.
I think definitely, because if you look at the way Ada's designed, it's like an eye, and it's very much like Al. It's very much does look like can I dream, that kind of stuff. I think it's done on purpose.
Oh, definitely. Like that's definitely the influence that is coming through, and we've had that in cinema a lot. But I think it's done really well here, and I think Emily Atak's voice. Who Emily Atak was in The Inbetweeners, and I think she has her own show at the moment, like a sketch show or something, ITV.
Yeah,
I think she has a show. But yes, so yeah, it's definitely a bit more of a psychological one, this one.
And it's I like the fact that certain things aren't referenced. Like you look at the movie and it's set in slightly in the future, but it never says that. It's just you see the technology like in the cars and the earpieces and things like that. So it's set in the future, but you don't know when, which gives it a bit more ambiguity as well, which I quite like. And I I explained it to Sarah. I said it's like Alexa crossed with your mother-in-law. So that's the best way I can describe Ada. Heart's in the right place.
Of course. Yeah, I get that, and the relationship that develops between the two characters is interesting because it starts off and she's quite welcoming of being protected and looked after and monitored, and again that's what she's designed to do. And they kind of start a friendship. There's a bit of banter. There's jokes. Ada makes jokes about things, and the kind of research people or the designers of Ada are very interested to know how it's going and what the issues are, or if there's any problems, and slowly but surely kind of creeps up throughout the film.
It's very much a slow build, isn't it? It's very...
It's a slow burn. But
it's not the sort of movie you could start watching, go make a brew, come back. You need to kind of invest into it.
You do need to focus and concentrate and notice stuff. And even, to be honest, even at the end, I was a bit like, okay. It's it's one of those kind of endings. Again, won't spoil it, but it's one of those that's a bit of a thinker, I think, which is a good thing. I think you should come out of films and think.
Well, I also think that's what sci-fi should do as well. I think this sort of dark sci-fi type movie should make you think. Because it's questioning our kind of reliance on AI and our reliance on computers and things in a more subtle way than say Terminator or whatever. It's there for us to kind of almost a cautionary tale.
True. I mean, there's a technician that comes in and he literally says the server room has. She's like, those keys are a bit old tech, aren't they? And he's like, it's the only thing Ada doesn't have control over, because she can lock all the other doors and the windows and, change the lights and all sorts and, monitor everything else. But those old school keys are the only way they can get in and turn her off in case she goes a bit haywire, which she does.
Which is a bit of a red flag straight away, isn't it?
A little bit. But I like they've got these contact lenses as well that they use within the technology, and it kind of brings up like a Minority Report kind of screen for the technician to do all of his work on. Initially I thought he was like a robot.
Yes, I did as well.
Because of the way he was like, he's got these very bright blue eyes and he's kind of, and he's like, yes, hello, I'm here to fix the Ada and all this. And he's not. But spoilers, but he's not. But that's basically the start of the film. I feel I can say that. But yeah.
I would struggle talking about this movie without giving any spoilers away, because it's very much anything you say about Ada and the relationship could technically ruin the journey you're going to go on with the movie.
Yeah, I think so. It's a tricky one. It's definitely one you will invest in. It's definitely one that you will take your time with. But it's very A to B, the story. Like there's not many twists and turns. There is kind of one bit, but again, will not spoil. But if you like that kind of dodgy AI story, and you like the potential kind of, because science fiction usually becomes science fact in some cases. So it's certainly possible that something can go a bit
it's
mad.
A tiny cast as well, so a lot of the kind of film is just Chloe walking around the property talking to Ada, and it's that relationship which is the focal. And if the acting wasn't very good, that wouldn't work. And so I think again I'm going to talk about another film which is very similar with one person carrying the movie.
Yeah,
I think the same with this one. I think she does a stellar job with it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough old job, because like, again, acting against nothing can be very tough, and just hearing the lines in your head and stuff. And the character is an actress who again loses her memory, or loses the ability to kind of maintain her memories in a way, because they keep asking her questions like where she is, who she is, what she's doing, what her sister's name is, to kind of make sure all those neurons are firing, or whatever they're called. And I'm an actor with memory problems, so I can relate. I can relate. So not probably not to that extreme a level with memory problems, but some things I just forget. I'm
just a chubby 44-year-old with memory problems.
That's all right. We all knew that, Dennis. We all knew that.
Where am I? Who are you?
Good question.
What's going on? I'm reluctant to go into more detail. I would say my kind of summing up with the movie is you need to invest in it. You need to stick with it. If you don't like slow burners, this may turn you off a little bit. Yeah. But I think if you invest in it, I think it's a conversation afterwards. It's one of those movies that you'll talk about afterwards with whoever you're watching it with.
Oh yeah. It's it's something kind of a bit like Gattaca. That's it's not really that violent. It's not really that bloody, but there's a lot of interesting moral questions, moral ambiguity, and things, and what's going on. And again, it's got an ending, like I said, that will make you think, or it'll make you go, well, did that happen, or did this happen, or was that? What was that? Was that? Is that a hologram? Is that not a hologram? What caused it to do these things? What caused Ada to do that? It's one of those. But yeah, I think if we talk anymore, I think you are right. We will spoil the journey and spoil the story. But yeah, I think the acting is strong. I think it looks good. It's got this very cold blue tinge to it.
Yeah, it's all blue and white, isn't it? So it's very sterile.
And I think that just adds to the kind of the cold, numbness of it, and the kind of, and again, she's kind of distancing herself from people a little bit as well, the human character, because of her disability. Again, it is quite similar to another one of the films that we'll talk about in a little bit. Like you were saying, it comes with kind of a disability, and a problem, and trying to escape that problem, and all the things that occur with it. But yeah, that was Dark Cloud.
So those two are the main features on Friday.
£11.70 plus the shorts we've already mentioned.
But two very different movies, but again, two very good movies.
Yeah.
And they kind of bookend each other quite well, because you watch Friday, have a bit of a giggle, look at the specs, and then a bit more thought-provoking movie.
Or you do it the other way around. You do all your hard thinking, and then you have something to turn your brain off a little bit.
Exactly. And my brain's always turned off, so it's fine. So that is Friday the 10th of December.
Yes, £11.70 for all that goodness for the Friday. And then now we're going to move on to the Saturday, and the film's on Saturday. And we're going to start with House of Snails. Writer Antonio Prieto decides to spend the summer in the mountains outside Malaga, where he hopes to find peace and quiet and the inspiration for his next novel. Here he meets Berta, a woman who feels he feels instantly attracted to and quickly finds himself drawn into the lives of the locals, who he soon realizes are hiding many sinister secrets. As he investigates and writes, he finds himself confronted by a terrifying local legend and the gradual realization that sometimes reality is much stranger than fiction. Directed by Macarena Astroga, written by Sandra Garcia Nieto, starring Javier Rey and Paz Vega. What did you think to House of Snails?
I'll be honest, I struggled with it. I think it's filmed beautifully. I think the scenery, I think the set pieces are nice. I think the color palette's beautiful. It's very Spanish in the way it's done, which is a compliment to the movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's more, for me, it's more of an art house type. You know, you go and watch at the corner house, that sort of movie. And I'll be honest, that's not my bag. I'm not really into that kind of sort of like psychological, mystical, fairy kind of whimsical horror. I'm not a big fan of like Midsummer and Wicker Man and things like that. I don't really like. I like slashers. I like kind of in your face. I like that kind of stuff. So this one, there is definitely something to it, and it's very much like the Dark Cloud. It's one of those movies that after you've watched it, you'd be like, okay, right, what just happened? And have a conversation about it. But for me, I think the cinematography is superb.
Cool.
And it's like what they call it? They call it like scenery porn. There's beautiful shots of the town and of the valley and where they are, and close-ups of fruits and things that make your mouth water. But it's not for me. I'm not gonna. It's not. I didn't hate it.
No,
and I didn't dislike it.
It's not a bad. It's not a bad film.
No, it's not a bad movie. It is just not my genre of movie that I would watch, if that makes sense.
It's certainly. I kind of agree with you. I think the cinematography is gorgeous. I think it's, like you said, shot really well, edited really well. It's got really good performances from all the cast. It kind of makes me feel of like a really kind of atmospheric Stephen King novel, kind of meets folk horror, like kind of a Wicker Man type thing. But then it's kind of got all this, not necessarily werewolf legend, but it kind of feels like there's an element of werewolfism about it. But it's not a werewolf movie. I'll say that before anyone gets disappointed. Where's the werewolves, Dan? You said there were werewolves. There are no werewolves. Where are the werewolves? They're not here. But I like that culture. I like that history. I like him diving into things. It's interesting because we find out that there's this curse on this village, and they believe that all the people that are cursed have some form of disfigurement or scarring or birth defect, whatever is the most appropriate phrase to use. And they're like, these are the people of the curse. These are the children of the curse, and this figure is going to come back and take their revenge on these people. Again, I can't really say more than that without spoiling it. But yeah, it's one of those kind of fish out of water kind of stories as well. Like, he rocks up and he's looking for somewhere to write, because with Stephen King, they're all bloody writers, aren't they? They're like, what can this character be? He's a writer. I wonder how can I write someone? Ooh, no, it's got to be a writer. I know how to write writers. So, and they've got to be alcoholic as well.
I wonder why.
It's got to be alcoholic writer, definitely. Anyway, this alcoholic writer meets people and there's a bit of a resistance to him, because apparently this large, beautiful mansion has not been rented out to anybody for years for some reason. And they're like, oh, well. And then he meets the estate agent, this beautiful Paz Vega, who's, always very beautiful and very talented. She rocks up and and he's like, right, I like you. First woman he sees in the village is like, yeah, I like you.
Well, the heart wants what the heart wants.
I mean, I don't really blame it. It's Paz Vega, but but there you go.
For me, it was kind of like Blood on Satan's Claw, if it was done by a Spanish director.
Okay, I've not seen that, but I've heard good.
It has elements of like you were saying, of kind of folklore and that kind of element of something's going on, but you don't know what. I would say that I think all the acting is really understated, which helps with setting the mood. It's not over the top. It's very kind of how you would act in that sort of situation again, which I think in all the movies, I think the acting has been stellar in all of them.
Yeah.
But I think this one, the sort of movie it is, and the pace it goes at, and the kind of message in it, I think understated performance just adds to it. Really, I think it's worth watching it for that for me. But if you do like your kind of fairy tale type, not sure what's going on type thing, I think you'd like it. And if you like Spanish movies, there's lots to like.
Gorgeous,
in it.
gorgeous Spanish scenery, Spanish towns. And is it set in modern times, or is it set?
Well,
it looks kind of oldish, like
it's
70s, 80s or something.
You don't tend to see technology either, do you? But I just put that down to the fact it was like the village itself. Yeah. I thought they didn't have stuff like that because of this curse and because of the village and the sort of people who live there and things that they didn't have. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I just maybe I read too much into it.
I don't know. I can't remember if they mentioned any technology or they got the phones out or anything. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff and some interesting characters, and you get the kind of like, here comes the village weirdo. There's a lot of those moments in it, which I quite enjoyed. It's like, oh, you're an outsider, you are. It reminded me of another Spanish film I watched recently called Game of Werewolves, which is kind of a similar thing. Apart from it actually has werewolves in this one. But yeah, it's kind of, it's these kind of guys. Again, it's another writer. He comes in, it's from a few years ago. I think it's called Attack the Werewolves as well. He comes in and he does his thing, and then he and this werewolf curse just happens to the village, basically. But yeah, give that one a go as well, because I think that's a kind of a Shaun of the Dead themed, but it's still got that Spanishness to it.
European horror and Spanish horror does tend to have, it's almost like looking through glass. It has that tint to it. It has that kind of
a sepia.
Yeah,
tone.
Yeah.
You can feel the the olives and stuff coming off the trees, and I totally agree. And I think it looks gorgeous. Like, it might not be your bag, Dennis. I enjoyed it for what it did. It's not something for everybody. I think a lot of these films, I like the choice in these set of films because they're all quite different from each other.
Yes, very much so.
And I think there's been an excellent selection by Grimmfest to do this and to pick the ones that they've picked. I think they've done an excellent job.
I think there's a film for every genre, for every kind of fan.
Yeah.
No matter what you're into, out of the four main features, there'll be one movie that everybody will like.
Well, if we think about it this way, Dennis, we've watched it as a kind of anthology, haven't we? So with anthologies, you're always going to have your favourites, and you're always going to have ones that don't necessarily hit home for you. It just depends on your particular preference. And I think that's kind of like with this grouping of film. We'll have our preferences, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the films are bad or lesser made. They're all very, very good and very, very stylized, very interesting to watch. I think
that's the one thing about this movie. It is interesting to watch. Like even like I say, it's not my bag, and the problem is when I'm not invested in a movie, I tend to fidget and I tend to kind of not really concentrate. But there are interesting moments. There are very kind of like moments that make you scratch your head a little bit, which is again, it's a European trait with it when it comes to these sort of movies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of them. But I think definitely check it out as well. Check them all out because they're all good in their own ways. But let's move on, I think, to the final film. So we're going to talk about See for Me. So Sophie, a young blind woman house-sitting at a secluded mansion, finds herself in danger from a gang of thieves seeking a hidden safe. Her only means of defense is a phone app called See for Me, which connects her to a volunteer across the country who helps her by seeing, quote unquote, on her behalf. Sophie is linked up with Kelly, a military veteran who spends her days playing first-person shooters. Directed by Randall Okita, written by Adam York and Tommy Gushu, and starring Skyler Davenport, Kim Coates, Laura Vandervoort, and Jessica Parker Kennedy. So, Dennis, what do you think of C for Me?
I loved it. Out of all the movies, this was my favorite. It's got a lot of the elements of movies that I like. There's no standout hero or villain. They're all a little bit in the middle.
Shades of grey.
Lots of shades of grey. I think the Skyler Davenport, I think she's absolutely amazing in it, and she basically carries the movie. And she's blind in the movie, obviously, from what I've read, she's registered blind as well. So she's it is a good film. It has moments of claustrophobia. It has a moment where you kind of like run, what is going on type stuff. The supporting cast are great in it. And again, it's like the Dark Cloud one. She's got a disability. She's a bit angry at the world, angry at everybody else. She wants to do things on her own. But unlike Dark Cloud, she has a journey within this movie, and by the end of it, she comes out of it slightly different, without giving too much away. But there is, she's not like a damsel in distress. She's grey. She has her issues. She has things that you wouldn't expect, and she comes out with things that you wouldn't expect. And it's kind of like it's a house invasion movie, which I quite like an house invasion movie. Don't know why.
As long as it's not your own house.
It's like no, as long as it's not my own. But I do. It's almost like, because I like revenge movies as well. So it's almost like, yeah, you're going to get your comeuppance in the end. But I thought it was great, and the lady on the phone, what was she called? Jessica Parker. Yeah. I think she's great in it as well.
I was surprised how many Arrowverse actors were in it.
Indeed.
Because you've got Laura Vandervoort. Was it Laura Vandervoort?
Yep.
Vandervoort? Yeah. And she was Supergirl in Smallville, and then went on to be in Supergirl. I think it was like Indigo 5 or Indigo Prime or something. It's like a female Brainiac, basically. And then you've got the military veteran. She played Barry Allen's daughter. So she played XS in The Flash.
Yeah. So it's like, the caliber. And you've also got Kim Coates, is it?
Yeah, Kim Coates,
who kind of surprisingly pops up. But even the villains in it, the villains, they're not
all bad.
No. There's bits where they're talking to her and they know she's blind, and they're kind of being careful what they say. Almost kind of like, for instance, you can see them, you'll hear us coming, that kind of thing. Yeah. And they're not sure what to do with her. So even that's
they're very polite to her as well. They're kind of like accidentally making fun of her blindness, and they kind of apologize for it as well, because they're not complete arseholes.
She's in the wrong place at the wrong time. They're not prepared for it. She's not prepared for it, and how it plays out changes her. I think that's is that a good sum up?
Yeah, I think so. I have to agree with you, Dennis. I think it is the strongest of the films. There's pure adrenaline, suspense. There's a lot there, and you identify the characters. Not your lead characters aren't all good. Your bad characters aren't. The antagonists aren't all good. There's a lot of like believability, and a lot of the things kind of happen by accident almost. All of it's like, oh shit, we didn't mean to do that, or oh, this wasn't supposed to happen, and this, all the robbery just keeps getting worse and worse as it goes along. And the fact that Skyler Davenport is actually legally registered blind as well, it just goes to show that it's an even greater performance than you could believe. Kind of like, it's almost
for me as well, it was surprisingly violent in places as well, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that kind of level. Again, it's almost like the final girl taken to the max, this one. She's a very strong character, and like what you were just saying then, when I was watching it and she was saying certain things, you think to yourself, I'd have probably done that too.
I think her natural blindness adds to the tension and to the believability of the performance, and just like, how does she navigate from day to day? But it also it levels up the kind of vulnerability, because she's already vulnerable, being a young girl and a group of thieves walk into a house. So already she's in a vulnerable position. But the fact that she's blind on top of that, it reminded me a little bit of Hush. Do you remember that?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Again, it's not quite the same, but it has some similar vibes of the disability.
Well, it's
home invasion.
It's very clear from the moment the film starts that she's angry and she wants to do everything herself. But in this scenario, she has to really rely on somebody, which is a good change. It's and reluctant as well. The first time she uses the phone to this thing for her to help, you can tell that she's trying to find every way not to ring up. So that's interesting with it. But I just thought it was it's a good thriller. I wouldn't say it was a horror movie. I'd say it's a good thriller. It's edge of your seat. It's nail biting, adrenaline. You've got moments where you shout at the TV.
Yeah. You're really concerned. You've got, because she's talking out loud. She's got a light on her phone so the person can see what she's not seeing technically, and she's having to speak out loud. You can hear the person, so you're like, she's going to be found. She's going to be found.
You can't hide in the dark.
Yeah,
can't hide in the dark with it, and you've always got in the back of your mind that the phone's going to go dead, or is this going to happen, and that
connection's going to go.
Yeah, and every single actor in it again. Right across all these movies, they're phenomenal. Even the characters that are like a mum who's probably in it for like 4 minutes. She's believable. She's she has that kind of frustration of wanting to help. So I'm gushing about it a bit, but I was pleasantly surprised. It's not just a good thriller; it's a good movie.
It is. I agree. I 100% agree. It's definitely my favorite of the bunch, I think. All good. Again, all very, very good. Again, to each their own. You might take something away from another one of the films, but I have to agree with you, Dennis. I think shot, acted, written, looks great. They use the location really well.
Yeah.
They use the modern technologies. It's not just. It's kind of got a little bit of the found footage element, but it doesn't run away with itself. There's enough of that and genuine.
You get like the first person type stuff, don't you, on it as well?
Yeah, exactly. And I love the kind of. Somebody who's, a veteran going through her own thing is assisting somebody else who's, gone through another similar experience, because she was a professional skier and she's had an accident and obviously caused her blindness. And now that she's frustrated that she can't do that. But her friend is like, I can guide you down the mountain. We can do the Paralympics. Let's do it. And she's like, no, I'm not. I don't want anyone's help. I don't want this. This is not my life. So she's resulted in doing this house sitting job, or cat sitting, I think she calls it. And she's robbing stuff from the houses and flipping them online, which again, this instantly you're like, she's vulnerable, and all this, but also she's like, she's a bit of a dick as well, which I thought was really fascinating.
It's like we said about the characters. Yeah. Every single main characters in the house are grey. No one's 100% bad. No one's 100% good. There's a lot of grey in this movie, and including her. She almost makes a deal, which you think, oh, but I'd do that as well. So she's looking after herself. Way she looks after herself probably be frowned upon. But no, it is a great movie, and like I said, all the cast is great. Skyler's amazing in it. Yeah. I think she carries the movie, because a lot of the time the camera is on her, or looking at it from her point of view. So. She carries the movie along. It's very much following her. But like I said, I loved it. I thought it was great. I think there was
not a moment where I didn't believe a second of it. I was invested. Yeah, believed every second. I
didn't fidget. Didn't get my phone. Didn't do anything. I just watched the movie.
Yeah, I just glued to the screen.
But you are you're on the ride with her, and it starts off a little bit slow, and then bang. Pace of it just, and before you know it, you're there.
Yeah, and again, it didn't I think it used the time to set up everything expertly. It didn't feel like I was like, let's get to the action, let's get to this.
It doesn't spoon feed you either, does it?
No. It lets you consider things and watch it and experience things in a way. It's not like, oh, this is how I had my accident and this is why this, and I now do this and this is how I live my life. It's just like, just cracking on. and a mum's like, yeah, I'm worried about you, but go and be safe, and just lets her do her own thing because she's a grown woman at the end of the day.
Good movie, good film, and so
Very
good.
good.
So that's on the Saturday.
That is Saturday, so that's another £11.70 for those two, for House of Snails and See for Me.
So just to do a quick recap.
Yep.
So on Friday, the 10th of December, it's Black Friday and Dark Cloud plus shorts.
Sure.
And then on Saturday, the 11th of December, it's See for Me and the House of Snails
plus
shorts. Yeah.
Plus the shorts. All those summer shorts.
Yep. So a bargain.
Not what's that? 24 quid, probably a little under 24 quid.
And these sort of events and stuff where it's streaming, you have your mates around. You'll put a few quid in.
Exactly.
And like we said before, you've got silly horror, you've got a tense thriller, you've got a dark sci-fi, and then you've got this kind of fairy tale-esque kind of horror out there as well. So there is something for everybody. And like Dan was saying, we've not seen the shorts, but I've watched quite a lot of the trailers for the shorts, and they look great. They look really good. And again, it looks like there's a cross section of stuff there as well, from like really gory to kind of just silly. So I think that it's a good entertainment package.
You know what? I think people are going to love it. I genuinely think it is well worthwhile. It's well worth the time. It's well worth the money. What else are you doing? What else are you doing? Just get in, get a bottle of wine.
Boris has his way. We won't be going out of the house anyway. So,
but he'll go and have a nice knees up, won't he? He'll have
a nice party somewhere. So head over to Grimmfest.com, and then it's just follow a link to the Christmas Horror Nights.
That's right. It'll gives you the lineup, and it'll show you how to. And also, there's optional donations if you want to be very kind. You can donate a little bit more if you've enjoyed yourself, or if you highly enjoyed yourself, and you hope you highly enjoyed this podcast and us talking. Hope you appreciate that we can't go into too much detail with these being exclusive premieres on Friday, and Saturday. But I think we've talked about the films as best we could.
But Daniel, it doesn't finish there, does it? Because next week we're interviewing the writer and director of Black Friday.
Get in.
And end of next week we're interviewing Skyler Davenport for her role in See for Me as well.
Amazing.
We'll get a really good insight into what it was like. So you've listened to us, you've watched the movies. Now let's talk to the people who make the movies.
Made those excellent movies. Great stuff.
So it's just a fest, isn't it? It's just a horror Christmas fest.
All of the fests.
Almost a grim fest.
Way.
See what I did there?
Festive fests. Grim festives.
Yeah,
anyway. Well, that's us. It's just a short one. We just wanted to get the word out, get people listening, get people getting and seeing these films before anyone else. Get your opinions to us. Tell us. Get us on the social medias. We're on Facebook at Secret Bores, Twitter at Dan_Bores, Instagram is at SpiderDan Secret Bores, and don't forget to use the hashtag #PrepareForPrattle. For everything else you need to know about the podcast, swing over to SpiderDanandTheSecretBores.com on the World Wide Web. And I'd like to thank my patrons on Patreon. I am Jack's Musings, Paul Mellor, Max Byrne, Tony Farina, Scott Hodgson, and Simon Cotton for their continuing donations. It is very much appreciated and helps Prattle World keep on turning. And if you ever find yourself in a position to help the podcast, please consider it. And make sure you get on Grimmfest.com and get those tickets.
And I would like to thank Sarah, Katie, and Simeon from Grimmfest for giving us the opportunity to watch these movies, talk about them, because, there's nothing better than watching a movie and then just chatting with your mate about it.
Absolutely.
So I thank you so much for that opportunity. And just one last thing before I think we can go. We have a bit of a giveaway.
That's right. I almost forgot. My memory is all over the
place. I know. We have a bit of a giveaway.
So
during when we covered Grimmfest 13, the Grimmfest guys very kindly gave us like a grab bag. So within this, there's a T-shirt, a tote bag, and a couple of movies. Okay.
And we're going to toss in a Werewolf by Night comic as well.
Yes.
It is the first appearance of Moon Knight. It's not the actual. It's a reprint. So calm yourselves. It's not the actual. We're not that generous over here. But yeah, so you can read that very first appearance of Moon Knight. So that's exciting.
All you need to do is answer a very simple question, and this question is: what links C for me and the DC TV universe?
We might have given it away, maybe.
We may have done. If you put your comments, answer it on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere where you can leave a comment, and we'll get somebody from Grimmfest to choose a winner.
Absolutely.
And then you'll get an added Christmas present when we send the stuff out.
Yep. So get on Twitter, get on Instagram, get on Facebook, answer those questions. I'll make people aware that there is a competition on it as well. So yeah, just listen, remember, write in. Tell us what you think of the films. Tell us what your favourite was.
Yeah.
Tell us if we're wrong. We also like that. If you don't agree with us, that's fine. They're all excellent films. Check them all out.
We do like to prattle.
We do like to prattle. That is what we're here for, prattling. But yeah, so get in touch in whatever form you can. But we do appreciate you listening once again, and we do appreciate Grimmfest for again giving us the opportunity to talk absolute rubbish. Because we do. All the films are great, but we talk rubbish.
Yeah, we talk rubbish, yeah.
But yeah, thank you again for letting us be here and give us the opportunity to have these exclusives. It's been amazing. So thank you guys. Thanks everybody for listening. You have been amazing, and we'll catch you very soon with those exclusive interviews.
Thank you very much, and see you soon.
Bye.